Good morning, friends. So I was out here doing my morning walk around, filming a little video. I was going to film today anyway, so I figured this was the perfect spot to start our video today. So I hope everybody is doing good. I am already getting emotional. Woke up with a very grateful heart this morning. And yesterday, we went down and we mowed and attempted to weed eat the graveyard where my in-laws are at. I didn't expect to start it this way, but here we go. It's funny, isn't it? I didn't come out here to do this at all. I was just coming out here to film my little short video. And then I was up there and I was like, you know what? This is beautiful out here with the sun and the shade and just good start to a video. And then I started talking to you and God was like, you might as well sit down. And I just so happened to have my tripod out here. I don't believe nothing is a coincidence. I think that, but this isn't what I planned on doing. But here we are. And maybe this is for my friend. I have a friend that's going through a lot with her family. I'm not going to use names because I'm literally filming this before I even talked to her. This was not planned whatsoever. And so I have a friend that's going through a lot with her family. And we're going to call her Elle. So if you don't mind, just say a special prayer for her. Say it right now so that you don't forget. Because that's what I like to do. If I tell somebody I'm going to pray for them, I like to instantly do it. Because Lord knows that life is busy and we forget. And so if you don't mind saying a special prayer for Elle and her family, they're going through one of the worst nightmares that you could have. So say a special prayer for her. So maybe this is for her. I am going to, I think I'm going to let her know about this because maybe she wants to watch it, maybe she doesn't. She is one of my YouTube besties, but she's so much more than that now. And so I want to tell her in case she doesn't want to watch this, because some people don't like to watch things that's going to trigger feelings that they're already feeling or make them feel like they're going deeper when they're already drowning, And so maybe this is for her. Maybe this is for me. Maybe this is for somebody else. I don't know. But I was feeling so grateful this morning because yesterday we went down and cleaned the family graveyard. We do that at least once a year, sometimes twice. It just depends. Usually around this time of year, we'll go down. John will do a little drive-by or whatever and see if anybody's mowed it, because we do it, and then there are some other people in our family, and then just some other people do it sometimes. And there's no set schedule or rhyme or reason, just people make sure it's done. And sometimes it's not done quickly enough. It's fine. It gets done. And it's never terrible. Anyways, we went down. I guess he rode by on the way home from work because he had a short day yesterday, and saying that had been mowed, but it needed to be mowed again. And so when he got home, he asked me, he said, you gonna go help me at the graveyard? You can weed eat. After he bought me a weed eater, and then I become the weed eater kind of gal. And I actually made a little video when we was down there about, I plan on putting it, I was gonna put it on here probably, but just talking about don't let your man know that you can do boy jobs, because you'll be doing boy jobs. The main issue he has is there's some little, if the grass gets too big, there's some little like footstones and stuff that, he don't want to run over. And so he has to try to make sure he don't hit those. So I like to weed eat around those, and then I'll do the big headstones and stuff afterwards. Well, I got footstones that was the hardest to mow around. I got those weed eated out so that he's seen the space and knew not to hit those. And almost immediately, I got a few more done. Anyways, almost 5 minutes or 10 minutes in to being down there, my weed eater decided to tear up. And we think, because of Google, I think that's like the magnet desensitized or something. And so it's just tore up. We can replace the motor or just buy another one. We tried it. We just thought he thought it might have been overheating, but I've used that thing for years. It's never had an issue. I did try it a couple of different times though, just so I could say that I did. But I took it back to the trailer and got the leaf blower because I wanted to. I also leaf blow and make sure that there's no like loose grass on the headstones and stuff. And so I went over and leaf blowed them, and then noticed that where the grass was still tall, especially where people had planted like bushes, it was just ugly. Like, it was a big space about this big that John couldn't get in, and the weed eater was tore up. So I was like, I can't leave that. I'm a person that I think if a job is worth doing, you do it right. You're not lazy, and especially if it's something like that. So I didn't have no scissors or nothing. So I just went and was hand pulling all of it. It didn't look as good as if I would have had a weed eater, but it was better than leaving it. And so I was hand pulling them. And I don't know if I've never noticed it before. I've just disassociated with it or what. But where I was cleaning up the grass that I hadn't got to weed eat around the big bush that John couldn't really get to, because his mower gets in pretty close and tight to stuff. But I was, weed eating it with my hands, pulling weeds or whatever, and some of it landed on the stone, and I was going to leaf blow it again, but I went ahead and just scraped it off with my hand. And when I did, I noticed the name on it, and it said John McKinney. And I don't know if I've just disassociated. Like I said, I don't know if I've never just really paid attention, because I will often read the names as I'm, cleaning around the grave. But this time, for whatever reason, it literally stopped me. And I looked at it, and I just kept my hand on it, because it made me realize that maybe someday that will be me cleaning my John's grave. And maybe I'll go first, but that it just really stopped me, and it made me start thinking about stuff. And I know a lot of people don't like to think about death, and people don't think about death until it's right at their front door, right? You don't think about it because it's not a thought that people enjoy thinking. I'm happy to get to heaven when I get to go, because I know where I'm going, but I'm also like earthly selfish, and I want to be here. I want to watch my family grow up. I want to watch my kids create their own lives and their own families. My ultimate life goal is to watch like Violet become a mom on her own and just start her own family, right? So I have earthly goals that I still want to complete. Mainly that one. I want to see all of my kids get saved and living a life in church and living life fully for God. But I'm happy to get to heaven, but I don't want to go now, right? Ain't that what Brad Paisley says? Is it Brad Paisley? That everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to go now? And that's my testament. I want to go to heaven. I'm happy that I'm going to heaven, but I ain't ready yet, Lord. And so I'm happy to go to heaven and know that that's the ultimate resting place. But one day my body will be resting in the ground, and John's body will be resting in the ground at the exact place that we was cleaning yesterday. And the stone that said John McKinney, it just stopped me in my tracks. And I was over there looking a hot mess. Thankfully, John was down the field, and he was not paying attention to me, which I was weed eating, so I could have had something in my eye anyways, because I was up there, not like bawling crying, but I was up there crying because I was thinking that people don't think about how quick, and quick could mean 50 years, but people don't think about how quick life happens. And the next thing you know, you're not just cleaning some distant relative's headstone, you're cleaning your whole world's headstone. And it just made me start thinking about how quick we are to get mad at people and to hold grudges and have arguments and just like completely cut people off for little things when people don't have an expiration date. We don't have a date written on our arm to know how long that we have left with each other. And people are just so quick to just give up on people. And I'm not saying that if you have somebody in your life that does you bad or hurts you or hurts your family or is just negative or toxic, I'm not saying to reconcile and reconnect with those people, but you shouldn't just hold bitterness and grudges toward people. You can fully just let things go and just be your own person, let them be their own person without having a relationship, and that's okay too. Not wanting to wish harm or unhappiness or death on those people, but just you don't have to have a relationship with people if they're far off. I mean, obviously you have to have a relationship with your spouse, which is where I was going with it, but just how quick people are to let little things mean so much when they shouldn't, and how people can let little things lead to big things that will just make you be filled with regret and have so many regrets in life. I have lots of regrets, and some of those are very big regrets and things that have definitely cracked our foundation and cracked the life that we, not the life we live, because I'm thankful that sometimes God takes a cracked foundation and makes the structure even stronger. And that is definitely what He done in my life. But it's not always that way. It's not always that things get to be rebuilt stronger than they was before. Sometimes you get to rebuild them, but they're rickety and they got stones missing and they're a little leaning to the left a little bit. And I'm thankful that that's not necessarily the case in the life that we live, but just people need to realize and live every day knowing that you don't know if you have 5 minutes or 50 years with somebody. You don't know how much time you have with people, especially the people closest to you, like your husband, your wife, your kids, your grandkids. So you should always just try to live in a life of peace, of knowing that if something happens today, I won't be okay, but I'll be okay in knowing that they knew that I loved them and they knew that I cared about them and that the little things didn't matter, because everybody's going to argue, everybody's going to have issues and spats and whatnot, because you're human. Everybody has opinions, everybody has a mouth. Some people like to use them more than others, and so you're always going to have a little differences and conflicts with people. But ultimately you should love people and care about people enough to know what matters, and that is letting the people that you love and care about the most know that you love and care about them. And so if something happens to them, you know that they don't have a doubt in their mind about what they meant to you, and that's more for you because they're at peace, Lord willing. Like, I know not everybody goes to heaven, but that's a beautiful thought if they would, and that is obviously that's the best goal for people, is to make it to heaven. But if they make it to heaven, they're at peace anyways, but you're walking around with the regrets of what you had said or what you could have been. So people need to think about that and realize that you don't know how much time you have. You don't know if you walk out the door mad at your man, or he walked out the door and he's told you he loved you, but you didn't tell him back because you was mad because he didn't let the dog out, and he might not never walk back in. And so we have a little rules, me and John do, that even if we're mad, like if we're fussing, we're not really talking, which thank the Lord it doesn't happen often, but it happens. We spit and spatter, and we definitely don't agree on everything. There's quite a bit of things we don't agree on, actually. But no matter how mad we are at each other, if we're not talking, if he has to call me for something, we say I love you at the end. Before he leaves for work, we get a hug, and not a hug, we don't necessarily give a hug, but a kiss and a I love you goodbye. No matter if we're mad, if we ain't fighting, if we nothing. If that's the only words we say to each other all day long, it's I love you. And because you never know. And at nighttime, we do it at nighttime too. Like, we will always tell each other goodnight, that we love you. Because I don't want to live a life to where I have to regret not being able to say it the one last time. Because you never know. Because people don't think about death, right? They don't think about that it could be the last time that you get to see somebody or say goodbye or say what you're feeling. Because if we did know, I think things would be a lot different. And like I said, I'm not saying that you should just live a life where you let everything go and you're perfectly fine with people treating you badly, or you forget everything, because you're supposed to forgive everything, but you just forget everything because you never know, they could pass away tomorrow, and then you live in a life of destruction and brokenness for 15 years or 20 years. Or that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that people need to make sure that the people that they love knows that they love them, and that you just never know. Life happens, quickly and without warning sometimes. And sometimes we're blessed and lucky enough to have a warning. But even then, it's still not enough. Like if you know something's coming, once it finally comes, it still is very painful. So just let people know that you love them and that you care about them. If somebody is on your mind, even if it's just like a happy thought, a lot of times, but especially if it's you just feel a burden for somebody, I think you are supposed to reach out to them people. I try to always, even if I'm just like, hey, you've been on my mind, I hope you're doing good, love you. I send those messages quite a bit to people. And then more often than not, I will get a message back like, thank you, I needed that. I was just struggling. It's been a hard week. It's been a hard time. And so I always try to go on those instincts of when God puts somebody on my heart to reach out to them. And I try to do it almost immediately, because the Lord knows if I don't do it, I will forget and put it off for days sometimes. But then if I think about them again, I'm just like, okay, I've been thinking about you, because people need to know that they're cared about and loved and that people are there for them. So I don't know who this was for. Maybe this was just for me, and I've had to edit this a lot and redo it multiple times. So it might be jibber jabbery. And if it is, I'm sorry. But like I said, I've tried multiple times to do it, and then I was like, maybe I'm just not going to do it. But then I think I'm supposed to do it. And y'all know me. I ain't perfect. But I try to live my life to where if God tells me to do something, I do it. So here we are. Whatever God tells me to do. And this morning he told me to sit out here and drink my cold coffee with you. I hope that's chocolate. And have a little chat. And so I hope it helps somebody. Maybe I just needed to do it because it's been heavy on my heart since. So anyways, we love y'all. We see you next time. As always, remember to show grace, be content, and live blessed. Bye, friends.
Bye-bye.